Learn English to Gujarati governance vocabulary, governance, compliance, and
जवाबदारी.
welcome to the very serious office. Hey, you're about to learn some big important words without falling asleep on a stack of official papers. Yes, that is a promise and almost a legal document. Welcome to the Ministry of Funny Vocabulary, where the coffee is weak but the words are strong. Today you will meet 8 powerful terms in English and Gujarati. First comes governance, which in Gujarati is
शासन.
then compliance.
पालन.
Accountability becomes
जवाबदारी.
control. Authority is
नियंत्रण सत्ता.
supervisory board is
निरीक्षण मंडल.
sanctions mechanism is
प्रतिबंध मैकेनिज्म.
discretion is
विवेकाधिकार.
and commitment is.
प्रतिबद्धता.
If these words sound formal, good. We are entering the kingdom of meetings, reports, and people saying, let us revisit the framework, when they really mean, oops. Your mission today. You do not need a suit, a briefcase, or a worried facial expression. You just need your ears, your voice, and a little bravery. Your goal is simple. Hear the word, connect it to a scene, and say it out loud. When you hear governance, think of a city running smoothly. Say,
शासन.
when you hear compliance, think of people actually following the rules for once. Say,
पालन.
when you hear accountability, imagine someone finally admitting, yes, I sent the wrong email to everyone. Say,
जवाबदारी.
when you hear control. Authority, picture inspectors with clipboards and serious shoes. Say,
नियंत्रण सत्ता.
when you hear supervisory board, imagine a long table, careful faces, and one person asking for page 47. Say,
निरीक्षण मंडल.
when you hear sanctions mechanism, imagine a big red button nobody wants pressed. Say,
प्रतिबंध मैकेनिज्म.
when you hear discretion, think of a wise judge choosing carefully. Say,
विवेकाधिकार.
when you hear commitment, imagine showing up every day even when the printer is evil. Say,
प्रतिबद्धता.
a tiny story of order and chaos. Let's put all the words into one playful story. Listen like you're watching a comedy set inside a government office. In the town of Paperpur, everything was a mess. Roads were late, meetings were longer than movies, and nobody knew who had sent the budget to the bakery instead of the bank. Then a new mayor arrived and said, we need better governance. In Gujarati, that is
शासन.
The workers nodded politely, which is office language for, please explain. The mayor continued, good.
शासन.
Improves public trust. Suddenly even the pigeons looked impressed. Next, the safety officer shouted, rules matter. We need compliance. That is
पालन.
Helmets appeared. Checklists appeared. One man even followed a line on the floor as if it were a sacred path. Then the mayor said, and who is responsible for the bakery budget incident? Silence. A cat sneezed. Finally, a clerk stood up and said, I accept accountability. In Gujarati,
जवाबदारी.
the room relaxed. Someone even offered biscuits. Soon the
नियंत्रण सत्ता.
control authority arrived to inspect the files. After that, the
निरीक्षण मंडल.
supervisory board reviewed the annual report with expressions so serious they could frighten a photocopier. One official warned, if rules are broken again, the
प्रतिबंध मैकेनिज्म.
will be activated. Everyone sat up straighter. Even the chairs seemed nervous. But the judge reminded them, not every case is the same. Sometimes we need discretion, or
विवेकाधिकार.
And finally the whole town promised daily effort and long-term commitment.
प्रतिबद्धता.
Paperpur improved, the bakery got its money back, and the pigeons retired from public commentary. Word spotlight. Now let's slow down and make each word memorable. You'll hear the English word, the Gujarati word, and one friendly image. Governance is
शासन.
Imagine the steering wheel of a state. Good.
शासन.
Keeps schools, roads, and hospitals working. Compliance is
पालन.
Imagine a clean checklist with every box ticked.
पालन.
means following rules and standards. Accountability is
जवाबदारी,
think of answering for your actions. If you break the vase or the budget, you accept.
जवाबदारी,
Control authority is
नियंत्रण सत्ता,
picture an inspector at the door checking permits and raising one eyebrow. Supervisory board is
निरीक्षण मंडळ,
imagine a boardroom full of people reviewing decisions from above. Sanctions mechanism is
प्रतिबंध मेकॅनिझम,
think of a machine of consequences. Break the rule and clunk, the system reacts. Discretion is
विवेकाधिकार,
this is wise freedom inside limits. A person with
विवेकाधिकार,
can choose carefully. Commitment is
प्रतिबद्धता,
it is more than a promise. It is a promise that packed a lunch and stayed for the whole day. Mini dialogue in the boardroom. Here comes a short dialogue. Listen for the target words like a detective with a dictionary. Chairperson, R.
शासन,
Must be transparent. Manager, agreed and full.
पालन,
With the rules is essential. Auditor, also, we need.
जवाबदारी,
If there is a mistake, someone must answer for it. Inspector, the
नियंत्रण सत्ता,
will review the documents tomorrow. Please do not hide them under a plant again. Secretary, the
निरीक्षण मंडळ,
is already waiting in the conference room. They look calm, which is somehow more frightening. Legal officer, if violations continue, the
प्रतिबंध मेकॅनिझम,
may be activated. Judge, let us not forget.
विवेकाधिकार,
Not every small error deserves dramatic music. Team lead, understood. We will show full.
प्रतिबद्धता,
From now on. Say it with me. Your turn. Repeat after each phrase like you are confidently running the world, or at least a very organized meeting. Good governance improves public trust.
સારું શાસન જાહેર વિશ્વાસ વધારે છે.
Compliance with the rules is important.
નિયમોનું પાલન મહત્વપૂર્ણ છે.
Accountability is important.
જવાબદારી મહત્વપૂર્ણ છે.
The control authority checked the documents carefully.
નિયંત્રણ સત્તાએ દસ્તાવેજો ધ્યાનથી તપાસ્યા.
The supervisory board approved the report.
નિરીક્ષણ મંડળે અહેવાલ મંજૂર કર્યો.
The committee discussed the sanctions mechanism.
સમિતિએ પ્રતિબંધ મિકેનિઝમ વિશે ચર્ચા કરી.
The judge has discretion in this matter.
ન્યાયાધીશને આ મામલે વિવેકાધિકાર છે.
Commitment is important.
પ્રતિબદ્ધતા મહત્વપૂર્ણ છે.
Quick quiz, no panic. Time for a tiny quiz. No grades, no pressure, and no supervisory board staring at you. Probably. What is the Gujarati word for governance?
શાસન,
What is the Gujarati word for compliance?
પાલન,
What is the Gujarati word for accountability?
જવાબદારી,
How do you say control authority in Gujarati?
નિયંત્રણ સત્તા,
How do you say supervisory board in Gujarati?
નિરીક્ષણ મંડળ,
How do you say sanctions mechanism in Gujarati?
પ્રતિબંધ મિકેનિઝમ,
What is discretion in Gujarati?
વિવેકાધિકાર,
And what is commitment in Gujarati?
પ્રતિબદ્ધતા.
Memory tricks you can actually use. Let's make these words stick in your head like a note on a very important office fridge. 4.
શાસન,
Imagine a calm mayor driving a bus called the city. Governance is the steering wheel. 4.
પાલન,
Imagine a giant check mark floating over every correct action. 4.
જવાબદારી,
Point to your chest and say, I answer for this. 4.
नियंत्रण सत्ता.
Picture a clipboard army. 4.
निरीक्षण मंडळ.
Imagine a boardroom on a mountain, looking down at everything. 4.
प्रतिबंध मिकेनिज्म.
Hear a loud machine noise, clunk, consequence. 4.
विवेकाधिकार.
Touch your forehead and imagine wisdom making choices. 4.
प्रतिबद्धता.
Place your fist on your heart and think, I stay with this. Strange images help memory. So yes, if your imaginary inspector rides a bicycle made of reports, excellent. Learning is weird and effective. Friendly conclusion. You made it through the Grand Hall of Governance vocabulary, and you survived without filing a single real report. That is impressive. Today you practiced governance,
शासन.
compliance,
पालन.
accountability,
जवाबदारी.
control authority,
नियंत्रण सत्ता.
supervisory board,
निरीक्षण मंडळ.
sanctions mechanism,
प्रतिबंध मिकेनिज्म.
discretion,
विवेकाधिकार.
and commitment.
प्रतिबद्धता.
Thank you for listening. Keep practicing out loud, repeat the words tomorrow, and use them in your own sentences. Little by little, these big formal words will start to feel natural. You're doing great, and your vocabulary deserves a standing ovation, preferably from a very approving.
निरीक्षण मंडळ.